Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. It's time for some Friday Night Comics. We might have a guest appearance if he's awake of Lord Floofington of Meowington Manor, but right now he's taking a little nap. How's everybody doing? All right, nobody's responding, so must be awesome. So I thought we'd go over some upcoming comics from the March 2021 previews. That's stuff coming out in May. And then do some news articles and see where it goes. Hey, sorry, Adamantine, how you doing? I'm still pretty new at this, and I haven't figured out how OBS works, so this is going to be very, very primitive, and for that, I sort of apologize. But I'm pretty lazy, and you should all know that by now. So we're going to see where this goes. But the new previews catalog came out, and since I'm a giant nerd and wanted to talk about comics, here we are. And I was also super bored since Monkey went to bed. So we already lost some people. That's exciting. All right, so let's see here. All right, here's the catalog online on previewsworld.com/catalog. They sell wristbands for free comic book day like it's got cancer or something. That's pretty messed up. All right, so Image Comics, I found a couple in here that I was looking at and thinking about getting, but they have so much pointless trash, and it shows. Like, some of the covers look pretty good, but the interior art is usually very disappointing. Like, this looks really cool, but the title Good Asian, that sounds kind of racist. It looks really stupid. It's about a self-loathing Chinese-American detective. You mean like Charlie Chan? Only boring and more SJW? Yeah, great. Just what I need. All right, and then we scroll on down here. Philadelphia's always got pretty cool covers, but man, that book is boring. Made in Korea, same thing. North Force seemed like an interesting idea if Savage Dragon wasn't softcore porn. Oh, hey, Evolved, how you doing? Battle Chasers, I've heard good things about, but I just never got into it. I didn't like the art style. It was a little too weird looking and disproportionate. And a lot of these others are just kind of boring. Sorry, I'm trying to not to scroll too fast. If it gets annoying, let me know. Commanders in Crisis, I had the chance to pick up a couple issues of that, and I flipped through it, and I was like, wow, these are trash. Deep Beyond, I did a review on for the Patreons, and I don't think I'll be picking that one up. So let's see. Descender, not real impressed. Firepower is a pretty interesting series, but man, pick that up in graphic novel format, or trades rather. Hey, Oki, how you doing? But it's just such a slow burn because it's a Kirkman book. It really reads better in trade. These should all be graphic novels instead of single issues. This is just to milk it for extra money. Now, I am going to pick up Geiger. The first issue I ordered, and I'm probably going to give it a couple issues because it looks like it has an interesting premise, and the creative team isn't too bad. So this is actually Jeff Johns and Gary Frank and Brad Anderson, and I really like all these guys independently, so I'm going to give this one a shot. It's probably going to be the best Image comic that they've got out for a while, which is a really sad state of affairs. This haha looked really dumb. Let's see, Hit Girls, trash, boring trash. I've heard good things about this Helm Gray Skull, but it's not out yet. But from what some of the people are saying online, it looks like it's got potential, so I might get a couple issues of that. I think that one's got possibly some hope. Infidel had a premise that could have been really cool, but it went all SJW right out the gate. Inkblot, I'm kind of far behind on, but I'm really liking that book for the 3 or 4 issues I've read. Yeah, $4 really makes the price point like a little questionable, and you have to really kind of be a little more careful with it. That's what gets me is like I would probably pick up a lot more books if they were like $2.50. They don't even have to. I would prefer $2, of course, and put them on newsprint. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try Geiger Oki just because it's Jeff Johns and Brad Anderson. Those guys are all. That whole creative team is really good. I'm willing to give it a couple issues, but so many of these others are just. I'm not taking the risk for $4, especially if the ones you want in trade, like Firepower, the trades are almost $20 half the time. And I'm not dropping that kind of money on something I'm not sure if I want. This Noctera looked pretty good. I'm going to give the couple issues of this a try. I think the first issue comes out this month, or next month, March rather. Scott Snyder's doing it with Tony Daniel, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I always pronounce it like Tommy Mori or Tomi Mori. Really good team. And this one made a bunch of money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, one of the two, from what I've heard. And this looked pretty fun. So I do like Tony Daniel's work, and Scott Snyder could be pretty good, but their kind of creation, so it could go either way. But I'll give it 2 or 3 issues. So I'm probably going to order this one and see how it goes. Old Guard looked like it had potential, but wasn't real impressed with what I saw of it. This Radiant Black, I read the first issue of that, and this was actually pretty fun. I'm not a huge fan of that art style, but it's got a lot of potential for an indie superhero book. I thought it was actually a pretty good read. Kyle Higgins isn't normally someone I really want to read, but if this was $4 Australian, I might get it, but this is USD. That's about 6 or 7 here. Yeah, man. Like I said, I would pass on half of these because of the art, right? But I'll give a couple books a shot. I like reading superhero stuff, and a lot of this stuff is just so trash now. You just gotta dig for that good stuff, and this way I can read them, so you don't have to. Because if they're bad, I'm gonna tell you they're garbage. But I liked the first issue of that. It's got more the Invincible style art where it's a little blockier, but it kind of worked, except for the first appearance of the guy. Hey, Functional. So overall, the costume looked really cool. And it's got some interesting ideas that I think could be good. So I'm going to give that probably 5 issues, see if it goes anywhere. If it's a slow burn like Kirkman's work, I'm going to probably just give up after 3. Let's see, Satellite Sam, that's a naughty book. If you're going to pick that up, that's dirty. That's got naughty things happening. Savage Dragon, like I said, just turned into weird softcore porn. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. So that's kind of it. Spawn I would probably pick up, but I have no idea what's going on. I read one issue around 298. I had no idea what was going on. It was not a good jumping on point, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. Excuse me. It's kind of hard to mute myself, so because I'm using 2 screens, I don't really know what I'm doing. So if I cough a little bit, I got a little bit of a cold. Been let down from superhero books over the last 10 years. Luckily, I have a bunch of genres. Yeah, man, I get it. I prefer superhero books, but man, since I got back into comics a few years ago, man, they are hugely disappointing. I thought they were bad when I gave them up around 2007 after I closed the comic shop. I gave up before the end of the year, and wow, they were bad. Oh, yeah, nice. Good to hear, Evolved. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys watching. Ultra Mega looks like some kind of Ultraman ripoff, but probably going to be garbage. Never heard of this James Herron, Dave Stewart. I don't remember what kind of art he does, but that looks like Ultraman's helmet. I'm not really interested. It could be good, but that cover is garbage. I like the color scheme, but terrible. Hit the purchase button on that comic box. Nice. Yeah, I was really disappointed with the state of things. Marvel is getting a little bit better, but I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to be anything more than a trick. Mostly because I've been burned too many times by those scumbags. Dark Horse, I didn't see anything in this catalog that I wanted out of there, which was really sad. I liked the Avatar Last Airbender cartoon. I'm not big into cartoons, as you all know, but that was actually pretty fun. I read a couple of comics, so I was like, wow, this is mediocrity at its finest. Aliens and Terminator have been that way too, because Dark Horse got really woke somewhere along the way. And man, did they really go downhill. Their paper quality is worse than Marvel's half the time now. This Black Hammer is supposed to be pretty good. I don't even bother. I've seen a couple issues in the discount bin, and I don't even bother because I see Dark Horse and I just ignore it. The BPRD stuff's pretty good, but I don't really want to keep most of them. I just read them and give them back to whoever I borrowed them from. Buckaroo Banzai could be really good, but again, it's got the Dark Horse label on it, so it's got a little bit of a taint. I was at the thrift store today. They were selling 80s and 90s and early O's for $3 to $5. That's actually not too bad. So let's see. Crimson Lotus I haven't read, heard good things. Dr. Horrible, I saw the little video skits. I don't really think they could translate that too well. I think it's kind of like a one-hit wonder sort of thing. Like it was good in that medium and, doesn't really translate well. It's just kind of milking it. These look really cool, but they're $30, man. I'm not paying that. I did know somebody that used to make these things, and you'd take an image and put it through a computer and she'd print these out. And she made a lot of money off of them at like flea markets and swap meets and stuff, but it looked like a giant pain. But they're cool looking. Just not spending that kind of money on it. A lot of this stuff's just trinkets. I have enough of the junk after 20 years of comics. Let's see. Grendel's always pretty good, but again, Dark Horse. The Hellboys are all constantly being reprinted, and the price just keeps drifting up. Oh, hey, Ryan. Storage locker sales. Storage locker sales, man, that's a great way to pick up a bunch of junk you don't need and occasionally find something cool. And a lot of times the guys selling stuff out of those, they don't know what they've got. So if you can find some old people selling their grandkids' comics off or whatever at a garage sale, that's a great way to find stuff. And sometimes you find people that have no clue what they have. Orville, I don't watch the show. I don't care that much about Star Trek. Plants vs. Zombies, kind of milked to death. I think even the kids are tired of that. Seeds was a real big letdown. And Nesenti's a better writer than that, but garbage. These Stranger Things have been a huge disappointment. They don't go anywhere. The Yojimbos are worth picking up, but $30 is pretty expensive. All right, then we're on to IDW. That Snake Eyes Dead game. I read the first issue, and I think the second issue. The rest of them are sitting here in a big pile of stuff. Hey, Angela. My Little Pony Transformers 2. I have the first series. I haven't read it yet. It's in my far back pile of stuff that I'm way behind on. It looks pretty funny. I'm not going to lie. So I'll probably pick that up. It looks like a good kid's book. These Star Wars Adventures are supposed to be pretty good. I picked up the couple of the Han Solo ones. I haven't read them yet. But I don't really want to give Disney any more money. Yard sale guy, yeah, I don't know what this Yoey stuff is, but I'll sell it for you for a quarter. Yeah, pretty much. Yard sales are a great way to get stuff cheap, especially if you know what you're looking for and you know what it is. I've found all kinds of great comics over the years at garage sales and flea markets. That's actually where I got my Hulk 180 and 181 was at a flea market. I paid a quarter a piece for them. And I ended up selling them for a combined, I think, $800 for that first set. Then Used that money to buy another set, which I then sold for about $1,000. Took me a long time to part with them, though. This Transformers annual, I'll probably buy that. Transformers has been pretty good. I'm not a huge Transformers nerd. The diehards tell me that it's the IDW stuff doesn't follow canon or whatever, but I thought they were pretty good. I'm really far behind, though. G.I. Joe's been pretty solid, but again, I'm really far behind on that, too. I don't like that they killed off a lot of the original Joes and have replaced them because they're using the real-world timeline. I don't like that. I'd rather they just use the original characters from the toy lineup and, stick with, like, the usual comic book stuff. Because whenever they try a second book with the originals, they're always dumb. Star Trek Year 5, Polly said those are still good, but I quit reading when they had that weird, like, non-binary trans fish people thing. It was stupid. These best of books are really not worth picking up unless you haven't been reading Turtles. I'm really far behind on the Turtles, too. I've got most of them since, like, issue 70, and I'm that far behind. Real life getting in the way of hobbies. Time to win the lottery. Yeah, I know, right? I saw a green orc looking guy at IDW Transformers comic. He got confused. Yeah, that'll happen. The Beast Wars is supposed to be pretty good. I never saw the cartoon, so I don't know much about the Beast Wars stuff, but I'll probably pick that up. I got the first issue sitting here, and I think the second issue somewhere, probably at the comic shop. And I'm going to order the Transformers till I get caught up because I'm an idiot. Marvel. Oh, this is when they start their new stuff. Hey, Hyman. Jackie, sexy bastard. How you doing? First time catching you live. I haven't done a live show in a really long time because I'm kind of bad at them. And I don't really know what I'm doing half the time. But glad you're here. The Heroes Reborn thing, they're milking the name of the 90s event, and instead they're doing a different one. This time, Tony Stark does not become Iron Man, leading to a cascade of events where the Avengers are never formed, Captain America's never found. So they're focusing on some younger heroes that are now the sidekicks of other people. And Blade is the only one that remembers what's going on for some reason. It looks really dumb. Oh, Beast Wars was your introduction, really? I've heard that's a great animated show, but like I said, I've never seen it. I knew some people in college that loved that stuff, but it was a little, I was a little older than everybody else, so you know how that goes. Sometimes you just miss things and just never get caught up. Plus, they were super nerds, and it was kind of obnoxious to have to listen to hours and hours of Beast War commentary when you never saw the show. And I knew a chick like that I was trying to hook up with, and oh dear God, what a turnoff. Fantastic Four life story is in the tradition of Spider-Man life story, but by an inferior writer to that series. So that's probably going to be crap, just like the regular Fantastic Four series by Dan Slott. Spider-Man's been just a dumpster fire since Nick Spencer took over. And then here's some more Heroes Reborn stuff. What they're doing is making the Squadron Supreme into the main team for the universe. So a lot of crossovers with them. I have no interest in any of that. Plus, they're all like $5 or $6. I'm not paying for that crap. This War of the Bounty Hunters could be good, but it's not going to be. A lot of the Star Wars stuff from Marvel's been pretty tepid. I'm kind of behind on the main series, but the Bounty Hunters book really went off the rails and just slowed way down and got boring. I'm not reading this. That looks absolutely dumb. Reptile. It looks like he's doing drugs, like Crocodile. Alien could be good. I'm going to give the first issue a shot, but after that, I'm not ordering anything. I might grab it off the stands if it's going to be good. Amazing Spider-Man's trash. These $100 books are really nice. If you like the older Spider-Man stuff or the collected editions, these are really nice editions, but get them off of half-price trades instead, and you'll pay like $70. $125 is an outrageous price, but you get what you pay for, I guess. Banner Bill looks like trash. Black Knight could be good. I'm going to try this one. This Captain America one's probably going to be a pretty good collection. Carnage, don't care. It's a stark difference between these old Conans, this omnibus for $125 versus this $4 snooze fest. This Conan series has been so slow and boring. It's shocking. Daredevil collections. Charles Soule's not worth $125. The Death of Captain Marvel Gallery Edition for $50, probably worth it if you don't own it already. The Kirby run on Fantastic Four is pretty solid. I liked it better in the 150s up through John Byrne's run. John Byrne did a great job on that. More heroes. Look, a trading card variant for $5. Whoop-de-doo. Right? $100 a book. It better be gold plated and come with hot oral love. Oh, yeah? Conan Rider was on Midnight's Edge? That's cool. Well, he needs to get his crap together and make his book more exciting. Because when they had Roy Thomas on Savage Sword, it actually started to get better. Then they canceled it because they're stupid. Roy Thomas is a far superior writer. Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon. I just posted the review of issue 1 today. This book was great. I am looking forward to this. Larry Hama's writing this. And the first issue was like reading an 80s or early 90s book. Lots of action, very fast-paced. Stuff happening is kind of almost shocking at this point. Call the Destroyer. I liked that book when it was new. Loki, don't care. Valkyries, could care less. Miles Morales, stupid character. These Moon Knight collections are pretty good. That's a character that needed to get continuity straightened out, and they just made it worse. All right, man. Hyman Lyman, thanks for coming out, man. Oh, man, I would love to see a new Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe. That would be awesome. I don't care if he is old. This Punisher Return to Big Nothing, that's a great collection. That's absolutely worth checking out. This Spider-Man collection is not bad. $75 is way too high, though. Like I said, there's websites where you can find this stuff a lot cheaper. Half-price trades is definitely a good one. I'm probably going to give up on the regular Star Wars series after the stuff I've already ordered. Bounty Hunters I gave up on already. Darth Vader, I never read it. Heard it was good, but again, too much of slow burns. This Taskmaster series was so bad. Oh, that was painful to read. Trials of Ultraman, I'm definitely going to check out. I've been liking the first miniseries, and I like Ultraman. He's an awesome character. So hopefully they don't screw that miniseries up. No, High Republic. I think High Republic is on here. I just shot past it because, man, that first issue was so bad. That was such a stupid book. If you guys liked X-Men back in the 90s, you might want to check this one out. X-Men Legends. It's by some of the old style writers, like I think Fabian Nicieza wrote the first issue, and this one is by Louise Simonson, I believe. Yeah, Louise Simonson with art and cover art by Walter Simonson. So that'll actually have some really good art, and they tell you when it falls in the original lineup. So this might actually be worth the money. I'm definitely going to read it for at least these 4 issues. I ordered the first one, which I think came out this week, but I haven't picked up my books for the week because I've been poor. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks pretty awesome. And Walter Simonson and Louise Simonson are a good team, and they at least understand the characters. Yeah, I can understand that, Ryan. Ultraman's not for everybody. Godzilla and Gamera are awesome, though. So good choice there. The Invincible Red Sonia, I'm going to pick up issue 1 of this. For some reason, I always hope Dynamite's going to come through with a decent series. But Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor are rating this. I'm not sure who Moritat is. I know I've seen his art, but I can't place it. So I'll probably pick up this issue to see if it's any good, because the writers are pretty decent. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm always hoping they'll do something good with Red Sonia, but it's mostly lazy feminist propaganda at Dynamite. Red Sonia's Superpowers. I read the first issue. That review should be coming out soon. I thought it was pretty good, so I'm going to probably pick up the entire miniseries. Basically, Dynamite has been using a bunch of public domain superheroes for off and on for years now. They call them Project Superheroes, and they're crossing over some of them with Red Sonia and Vampirella. The Vampirella one was dumpster fire. Even though Dan Abnett wrote it, it was bad. But Project Superheroes, Red Sonia Superpowers was pretty good. Dang cats taking up my hobby money. Oh, I know that feeling. Sonya Versal sucks. The art's garbage. Look at that. It's stupid. They're real big on cosplay covers because they apparently forgot the internet has lots of porn on it for free. Vampirella's been really garbage, sadly. Boom Studios. I usually pick up a couple of Boom books, but I gave up on Buffy just because I had to trim some titles. I heard it kind of went downhill too, so there's that. Something is Killing the Children. I read several issues of that. I think 7. And it was okay, but it really took a long time to get anywhere. So if you're going to read that, get the trade paperbacks. Get them cheap too. It's okay. It's just really, really slow book. Dune House Atreides is pretty good. I've been reading that. I'm going to pick that up. I don't know a whole lot about Dune. It's an adaptation of a book. Heard it was pretty good, but I haven't read it, and I have no interest in it, so I'll read the comic book. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin, I've got all the issues of both Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin, but I'm really behind on my Power Rangers, and it looks like you kind of need to keep up with it. But I've heard good things about both these series. I did like what I read of the previous 2 series, so I'm going to probably pick up a few more issues of that. Once and Future wasn't for me, but it seemed okay. There's Power Rangers number 7. I'll probably pick that one up. Spectre and Spectres, that is kind of dumb. So I'll probably stick with Power Rangers and Dune for now. Diamond Select Toys, these are cool, but man, they are way overpriced. $50 for that little statue? No, I'm good. Although I probably would own this Darth Vader one because it's pretty awesome. The Firefly books, they look okay, but I wasn't a huge Firefly fan. I know that's probably some sort of heresy in nerd circles, but I thought the first couple issues were good, but I just never got back into it. And like I said, I've been trimming titles a little bit, so I just kind of left it by the wayside. But it seemed okay. I don't really know a whole lot about the lore, and it looked like it was kind of heavy on the show lore. This Gung Ho book is trash. It's sad, too, because Blaze is usually pretty good, but Gung Ho was stupid. So I'm not giving any of their other miniseries a try because the characters were just so unlikable. Artists, writers, and artisans. First of all, they still have the stupidest name in comics. They are effectively TV pitches for like Netflix or Sci-Fi Channel. And what they do is they sell the regular issues for about $4 and then sell the trades of 4 to 6 issues for $10. So if you're interested in any of their books, wait for the trade paperback. I found that out the hard way. But Archangel was pretty good and Bad Mother was pretty good. I didn't finish Bad Mother because I'm waiting on the trade to come out later this month. Shadow Man, I'll probably pick up a couple issues of that. Cullen Bunn is doing that, and he's a terrible superhero writer, but he's good at horror books. So I might give that a shot. I think I ordered the first issue already. Was that an incest manga? Yeah, probably. The manga's weird. The only statue that caught my eye is the magic statue. There's some cool statues out there. Yeah, Oki, effectively what they want you to do is pay for their storyboarding. and it's a shameless cash grab too. It is. They're not even trying to hide what they're doing. It reads like a TV show. It's founded by Axel Alonso, who used to work for Marvel before he got fired, and they're all miniseries, and they all read like TV storyboards. So if you're ever interested in them, just wait for the trades and pay the $10 because there's no point in giving them a bunch of extra money. It's just not worth it. That cover's pretty cool looking. Oh, let's see. A bunch of trash like usual. What's next on my list here? Blade Runner 4-pack for $17 isn't bad, but I would just get the trade paperback when it comes out. I do like Titans books. I'm really far behind on Blade Runner, but I do have all the issues. I plan on reviewing them. I'm just really far behind. Phantom, I would love to get this, but it's $50. And I don't have that kind of money. Weirdly, a lot of these got reprinted in India years and years ago. And every now and then, a bunch of them will hit eBay. And I'm always trying to get them, but I always get outbid because I'm not willing to put the money down for them. It was a bother, not brother, never minded. Oh, well, you never know these days. Won't be opposed to that, but I want a piece of the action. I want to buy it on the back end. Yeah, I get that. Let's see. Gorgo Attacks look pretty fun. It's an older reprint thing. Fantaco does stuff like that a lot. A lot of these indie books are just kind of weird stuff that people throw together like you'd expect. Some of them tend to be really, really stupid, but every now and then there's a hidden gem in there. And it depends on your sense of humor, too. This Punchline and Vaudevillains looked pretty fun. I might get that. It's about crazy clowns being like kind of heroic or something. I don't really know, but I remember reading about it a while ago. Sadako and Sadako-chan, I might pick that up. I got to write that one down because I'll have to special order that one. These are mangas, and they're based on The Ring. I got one, Sadako at the End of the World, and it's about these kids in the apocalypse that find the ring tape, hoping, and then when she comes out of the TV, they're hoping to make a friend. Really weird concept. It looked pretty fun. Most of what I buy is trade paperback, very few floppies. A couple I know sells them to me in bulk to keep their brick and mortar open, and their brick and mortar exists mainly as storage for their online sales. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that, unfortunately. And with the shutdowns, it's killing a lot of comic shops. This might be the death blow for a lot of mom and pop stores, and everybody's going to go to online, which would be really sad because I like to browse, especially for back issues. I don't trust people's grading, so I want to see it for myself. But man, it's just killing all these small businesses. Yeah, it's always good to see Gorgo get some media presence. But yeah, if you can support your local comic shop, even if you're buying trades or whatever, just buy one occasionally from the store. That helps out a lot. This Savage is, first of all, it's by Max Bemis, so it's probably going to be crap. I ordered the first issue. Again, I think that one's at the comic shop too. I should probably find my list and figure out what I'm picking up on tomorrow. But it's really, this character is based off of Turok because Valiant didn't own the rights to Turok, Magnus Robot Fighter, and Solar Man of the Atom. So they lost the rights to them, so they can't use them again. So they just created Savage to kind of replace them. Yeah, support, exploit, it's all in perspective, Oki. Trogs, no, not paying $5 for that. Oh man, look at that horrible cover. That makes me not want to buy it just on that. I'll probably only get the first issue of Savage because it's probably not going to be very good. Yuki versus Panda. Catchy title, looks dumb. Absolution, don't care about. Hatchet. I like American mythology, but I don't care about this book at all. See a bunch of garbage. Look at that garbage art. This looks like Arthur. Archie. It's Archie. It's for your homeschool kids and kids that aren't allowed to have fun. Arc World. It's Devil's Due, so it's probably a bunch of Orange Man bad. For those about Turok. Savage is replacing Turok because they don't have the rights. So since they lost the license, it went over to Dynamite, who I think are still sitting on the rights to Turok, Solar, and Magnus. They haven't done much with them if they've still got them, but Valiant can't afford it now anyway. Their books don't even come out on time. Bell Sirens, I'll pick that up. The Xenoscope stuff has been really solid. It's at least readable and reads like old school comics. So I'll pick up their book and pay a little extra for it because they're mainly doing one-shots now. They're doing 1 and 2-parters instead of miniseries because they're not doing too well either. But then you're getting a lot more issue for your money, and it's more likely to be good. And the chicks have boobs. If only there was a comic series about a post-apocalyptic professional perishable goods transport courier. Dare to dream. Witch's Shadow. That's a decent horror comic in the vein of the old EC books, but I'm just not that into horror books. I'll pick one up here and there, but I'm just not into them that much. And these type of books especially just aren't for me, but if you like the EC style stuff, like Vault of Fear, stuff like that, these are going to be for you. American Mythology is a really good company. I do like their stuff. Blade Runner Origins, I'll get that. Even though I'm way behind on stuff. Bone is a great kids book if you haven't read it. I'm glad they're bringing it back. If you've never read them, they're worth checking out if you got kids. Maybe in one complete volume called The Book. Yeah, the battery life on books is amazing. Scout Comics is pretty hit and miss. See, there's one of the artists, writers, and artisans books. $10. These were $4 issues, so you would have paid twice the money for individual issues. John Carpenter's Tales is usually pretty good, but I'm going to skip this one. It doesn't look very fun. These Carson and Venus are pretty good. They're reprinting Dave Sim's High Society. It's a Cerberus book. This is one of the best ones of the Cerberus series. High Society and Church and State are probably the two best ones. $40, I'd be willing to pick it up again to reread it, but not currently. But it's worth checking out if you've never read them. They're pretty interesting. More cartoony, dumb stuff. The Sumerian. If you want Conan done right, this is your series. They do mini-series all the time for them now. They're from Ablaze. Iron Shadows, issue 2. I'll pick that up for sure. That's a Fantastic Four homage. Crossed, I never really got into that. It was a bunch of weird sex stuff. Yeah, okay. I'm working on book 3 and 4 now. I've got to revise book 3 heavily, and haven't had a lot of time to devote to it. Book 4 is going to be probably more in line if you like John more than the others. Hopefully you'll like those, because I got to revise them quite a bit to change things with the times. Yeah, there was a Carmen Sandiego book. Where was that? Yeah, Carmen Sandiego. These are young kid graphic novels. They are aimed at really young children. So if you got kids, that might be for you. But yeah, I think the target demographic is like 7 on those. Let's see what else have I got here. These I just don't care about weird zombie porn. All right, we're into the Jugs books. There's a lot of these type of things. Deja Thoris trade paperback. I don't know why that's coming out from Dynamic Forces instead of Dynamite. Maybe Dynamite lost the license. Dynamic Forces mostly does autograph stuff. And I think they're vastly overpriced. You're never going to get back out of it what you put into it unless somebody goes on a murder spree or something. They do sometimes have variant covers, but I've never seen them go for the kind of money you end up paying for them. Is Carmen Sandiego an illegal alien? Maybe. I'm not sure. She's always on the run, though. Let's see, exciting comics. Really not that exciting. I've read several issues. They're okay, but they're better at less than cover price. I've got 4 or 5 of them I haven't read yet because I just kind of lost interest. The art is very, very wild because they read like Marvel Comics Presents, where they have like 3 or 4 stories in there, and they're all really short. So they're like serialized, and sometimes they're not that good. Yeah, I'm not big on variant covers. I think it's a scam. So as long as the cover I have doesn't look like total garbage, I'm pretty indifferent. But I'll pay for the cheapest one most often because I refuse to pay an extra $1 for a variant cover. You heard me, DC. Look at this trash. What is that? Yeah, a lot of these are garbage. Horror comics from Antarctic. I've heard mixed things about that, but if you like horror stuff, it's probably okay. I just don't have an interest in it. Invader Zim, another best of. $10 isn't bad if you like Invader Zim. Cave Woman and Jungle Fantasy are always in here. They're mostly just naughty books with the occasional bit of violence. I see people buying all of them, so you have to buy all of them, then buy one to read. Yeah, I see those guys too, and they're dumb. I'm sorry, you want to get a variant cover, just get the cover you want the most and save the JPEG of the other one. Realist Hero is good. Never read that, if that's a real thing. King and Black crap. Knights of the Golden Sun. I remember thinking the first couple issues were pretty good, but I never finished the first arc. It looked like it had a lot of potential. Lady Death, those are actually not bad. They're very 90s, and chicks always have giant jugs. Oh, it's a manga? I'm just not into manga that much. I'm not a huge fan of that art style. Yeah, Ryan, that's the way to do it. Don't break the bank for your hobby because you're not going to get out of it what you put into it most of the time. This Lady Freedom, I'm going to give that a shot. It looks like it might be fun. Not real serious, just kind of a weird action book with big boobs. So kind of up my alley. Lev Gleeson did a lot of books back in the 30s and 40s. And I think his entire catalog is public domain now, including the original Daredevil, who had boomerangs. I might give this a shot, but I probably won't because I have a lot of the reprints of the original. But he's a really interesting character. They eventually gave him goofy kid sidekicks, which was a big thing back in the late 30s, early 40s. And I thought that was stupid. But he uses boomerangs. Kind of a cool character that just never got the respect he deserved. So that might be worth checking out. But Lev Gleeson's characters were pretty cool, actually. And they were fairly popular at the time, but like all superhero stuff, the market kind of crashed, and that was a big one that suffered. Yeah, Oki, they always use the excuse, well, one of them is going to be worth a lot, but you end up paying a lot for all of them. It really never seems to be worth it. Sorry, my phone's going off. Sorry about that. So, Magic Treehouse, why? Man, Goat, and Bunny Man, I'm going to give this book a shot because it's Zenoscope. And if you don't know, if you're not from Maryland, there used to be Goat Man sightings along a lover's lane in Prince George's County. And the Bunny Man was an incident that was reported a couple times of a drunk guy wielding an axe, dressed in a bunny costume. And he would attack people. He attacked an Air Force guy and his girlfriend who were making out. And they apparently busted up a windshield and a window. And then another couple had a hatchet thrown through their window. So these are actually loosely based on real events or monsters that were supposedly seen. The ones was just a drunk guy in a bunny costume attacking what appeared to be a housing development where people would go to make out. I love that story. The 70s was an awesome time for goofy stuff to hit the news. Funny, dangerous. Yeah, $6, but these are like 36 pages usually because Zenoscope's been getting away from miniseries. Unfortunately, because they are small press, you end up paying more. But I'm willing to do that because I've liked a lot of Zenoscope stuff, and I'll cut out some Marvel and DC to pick up a Zenoscope book because I know I'm going to get something that I'm more likely to enjoy. And it's a funny premise, so I'll drop the $6 on the first issue. I'll probably get all three because I'm an idiot. I'm going to try to talk my comic guy into giving me a discount on those. Hamlet and Macbeth, if you're reading the manga version of that, just watch the movie. Maniac of New York, the first issue was really good. I liked it even more when it was called Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Because that's pretty much the premise of it. Like, they're not even trying to hide it. There's reference to Glass Clear Lake, something like that, where a camp counselor was murdered. They're not even trying, but it was pretty fun. I didn't hate it or anything. So I might pick that up. Meteor Swarm was pretty fun. This is kind of the Atari 2600 retro cover. But again, another American mythology. That was one of the first ones I picked up from them, I think. Logan's Run homage, but not nearly as good. Minions. If you got kids, Titan does put out a lot of good kids books and tie-ins. They've got a lot of good licenses that they actually do really well with. Jason Takes Manhattan. Just let it happen. Tell him you trade him a cat for store credit. He doesn't take cats, shockingly. I could probably give him dog treats in return, though. Heavy Metal has been doing a lot of really good books. Modern Frankenstein, I'm good. I think Frankenstein's been done enough. If you're going to do that, you got to do a new take on it. So this Myths and Legends Dragon Clan looked pretty interesting. I love that cover. Let me show you that one. I like dragons. So you can usually sell me with a cool fantasy story with a big dragon on it. But $8.99 is definitely out of my budget range. Joe Brusha does a lot of the Zenoscope stuff, and that guy is really good at comic writing. And Igor Vittorino, whatever, however you pronounce that, he does really awesome covers. Look at that. So I would probably check this out if it wasn't $9. 72 pages, though, is a good value for the dollar because you got to remember 24 pages is the average comic nowadays. So that would actually be a pretty good value for the dollar. Hardcore manga fan, I've never heard of that publisher. Yeah, you'll see that a lot in Comics Gundam. Since Tokyo Pop vanished, there's a lot of like weird little indie books that pop up for manga. Yeah, freaking minions. They'll never go away. They're always going to be a selling point. Dragon in a maid outfit, I'd buy it. Yeah, right? But check out that awesome cover. So I might break down and buy this one, but I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'll probably drop some other stuff to pick it up if I do that, though. Got to watch the old budget. This cover's dumb. I'd want the big dragon cover for sure. Ninjas and Robots has been really fun. The art is not for everyone, for sure. But I've been really enjoying that. It's a strange, high adventure kind of thing where they don't really explain a lot. But it's definitely got kind of a manga style to it, I guess. Sort of a indie manga style, if that makes sense. I don't know what it is. It's a rough, sketchy kind of thing, but I like it. It works really well for a ninja book. Nottingham, I would probably try that, but I'm not adding another book series on right now. Paranormal Hitmen, cool title, not impressed. Patriotica, I'll probably check that out for the $4 one. I just bought the first 3 issues of that off a buddy of mine. It looks kind of fun, kind of a patriotic superhero chick with big jugs. I'm not a boob guy, but if you're a boob guy, you might like that one. Penultimate Man is stupid. Let's see. Phantom Starkiller. I have not been able to find any of these books. They've had 3 printings of the first issue, and I haven't seen them anywhere. And they're always sold out. So I'm not buying it. I've given up. It looked cool, but you know what? I'm done. I tried. I stopped caring. People want ridiculous prices online for it. I'll get it out of a bargain bin someday. Gotta watch that budget. But didn't you say you were going to buy a comic called Bunnyman? Hey, I didn't say I'm consistent. Yeah, I agree. Reign of Fire could have been a really cool comic book miniseries. I get the impression from watching it that they wanted to make that like a TV series, but they just didn't for whatever reason, and that was kind of disappointing. Let's see. Resistance was Orange Man bad, so I didn't read past issue 1 of that. That was trash. Everybody rips off the Captain America cover. It's lazy. Robin Hood has been really good. This is a graphic novel, but they've been doing one-shots. Voodoo Dawn, I'll probably pick that up. If you're looking for some girl archer stuff, it's better than most of what DC's doing. And again, thicker issue justifies to me the fact that I'm getting my money's worth because I'm probably going to enjoy it because I've liked a lot of the other stuff they've done. Which I have some reviews of Robin Hood done that I need to post at some point. Let's see. There's a bunch of trash in here now. Summer Shark, that art looks horrific. That's the problem with a lot of these. The art is just garbage. There's some more low-tier romance mangas. Steak, I read the first issue of that. I think I'm going to put that up as a Patreon video. It's about a vampire hunter and her friend. Street Fighter Classics. Street Fighter's got really weird, strong comic book following. A lot of mangas and stuff out there that for some reason carries over to a lot of the stuff in the US that has been done by Street Fighter. So they have a really hardcore audience. This Sweet Downfall, I read the first issue. That's definitely worth checking out, but it's got an art style that isn't going to be for everyone. Sun Eater, I'm missing an issue of that. Otherwise, I really liked the first issue, but I couldn't find issue 2, and I ordered it a while ago. It still hasn't gotten here. It's lost somewhere in Detroit, apparently. A horror comic called Shred about a serial-killing wheelchair. Yeah, I've heard worse. Bought some Patriotica on Indiegogo or Kickstarter. Really? I didn't know that was an Indiegogo or Kickstarter, whatever. A crowdfunder. I didn't know that. I thought it looked cool, but I got all 3 issues. And like I said, I bought them off a buddy. He said they were good, but he just didn't want them. We trade comics a lot, and I saw him stuff. He gives me stuff back and forth. So her friend, you say? Yeah, she's got a best friend. I don't know if they're lesbians yet or not. It's a comic book these days and an indie one, so they'll probably end up being lesbians. Give a couple good reasons by the comic, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's a good marketing ploy that DC and Marvel forgot about, is boobs sell. About vegan hunting. I'd buy that, Ryan. I would buy that book in a heartbeat. Super Babes is pretty good, but it's $6, and AC is notoriously late on stuff. And I'll order the book. My comic shop will put the order in, and it won't show up. Otherwise, I've liked a bunch of their stuff. That it's cheesecake stuff, but at least it's superhero action, and they've been around forever. AC did stuff back in the early 90s, I want to say. And I have a couple of books from Heroic that are the same way, like Flare. I liked those books, but they're not consistent. And I forget what happens after the months of not reading anything, and then stuff doesn't come in, so they have to be more consistent. There's a lot of manga. Everybody's trying to imitate manga. Even the big two are doing that. And like I said, the art style just isn't for me. So I want some American Western comics. Saga of Tanya the Evil is good. I enjoyed the anime. Oh. See, I might have to get into manga just to read books again, good books again. Van Helsing Steampunk, I might read that. Might not. Van Helsing's a little hit and miss for me. I'm just not into that character. Volcanosaurus. This was a great book. It's about dinosaurs that can spew volcanic magma and fire. A stupid idea that should definitely be a sci-fi movie of the week, because it's so much fun. It's so dumb, it's fun. If you guys are into comics and you want to check something out, check these out, because they're only like $4 a piece. You can probably find the first printings, because these are offers again, is what the OA means. These are definitely a fun read. They were a lot of fun. Wailing Blade was pretty interesting. Very heavy manga influence on that one too. So a little overpriced at $25 though. I still have to post some of those reviews too, I think. Way of the House Husband. That could be funny, I suppose, just based on the title, but I'm not reading it. Look at that trash. What is this spaghetti limbs nonsense? That's Steven Universe trash. Do people really like that crap? So basically a dragon. Yeah. White Lily. I have issues 3 through 5 that I got off of eBay real cheap. And I'm missing issue 2. I already reviewed issue 1, and it was actually pretty good. But I don't have issue 2, so I'm waiting for that to hit the newsstand, because it's supposed to come out next month from Red 5. But I've got 3, 4, and 5 from Pocket Jacks, which these were originally published under. And I've been waiting to read them, but I can't find issue 2 for less than $10. So when I heard they were reprinting them through Red 5, I figured I'd just wait. See, now that's a cover that'll sell right there. World's End Harem. That's a title that sells too. Wow. Now, if you titled this Archie's Jumbo Harem, Archie would sell way better. See, those are way too big. That's more my size. Yeah, apparently harem books are big sellers. Yokai Girls, never heard of that one. It's no Yokai Watch, so Yokai Watch has a new book coming out too. That could be fun. I liked Yokai Watch, one of the few animated shows that I enjoyed. Jabanyan always made me giggle. I've heard good things about You Promised Me Darkness, but I've only heard that from people that have read like the promo stuff or leaked copies online, probably. I don't ask questions. But the premise seemed interesting. I might pick up the first issue, but I doubt it. Zorro and the Land That Time Forgot. Surprisingly awesome concept from American mythology. They take a lot of public domain stuff and do books on them. And Zorro has been great from them. The art is a little rough sometimes, but it's a really fun book. So yeah, Zorro in the Land Time Forgot, definitely worth checking out. Harem World's End 1 and Harem Fantasia. Is it any good? I grew up reading comics in the 80s. Most of the stuff is crap compared to it. Absolutely, Kyler. I was just reading X Mutants issues 2, 3, and 4 today, and those were from Amazing Comics. And man, even the indie stuff back then was far superior to most of what's out now. But places like American Mythology still give me hope because they actually care about the characters. And I do like Zorro. So mixing him in with an Edgar Rice Burroughs title is kind of awesome. And I think it's a good idea to do crossovers with public domain stuff like that. I'd really like to see more superhero stuff come out of American Mythology. But the fact they had Zorro fighting like Cthulhu-style monsters was pretty cool. Galleon of the Dead was pretty good too. Don't think I've posted those reviews, but those were really good. So that's pretty much it for the previous catalog. I don't usually buy much of the magazine stuff anymore. They're just too expensive. $12. Cinema Retro. I love movies, but I'm not giving you $12 for a magazine unless it's 40 in Times. It's about the only magazine I buy anymore, and that I can rarely even find that. All right, so let's see what's coming out next week. Did I fill out my form for that? Yeah, I got my notes. Just bought those issues at the thrift store. Nice. All right, so Image Comics. I didn't find anything in there for next week that I wanted. Dark Horse, same thing. IDW had a couple of books I wanted to pick up, or one book rather. This From Hell collection is really nice. It's $50 though. But if you're going to get a copy of From Hell, it's a really fun Jack the Ripper story. It's pretty interesting. He did some research. It's an interesting take on it. I'm going to get Usagi Yojimbo Wanderer's Road. These artist editions are amazing if you like the pencil art and no color. They're huge too. They're about 1.5 feet high. $150 though is way out of my league. For Marvel Comics, I'm only picking up Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black tie-in because I wanted to read the Symbiote Spider-Man stuff, and I've got the King in Black stuff, but I got to get caught up on Venom first. Pico spilled Atlantis. I'd read that too. Zorro movie reboot starring Michael J. Fox. Wow, dude. Wow. Yeah, Usagi's been great. I am a huge Usagi Yojimbo fan now. I've only kind of been a little familiar with it, but Stan Sakai's work has just been amazing on the IDW book, and it does not sell. I'm the only person buying it at the comic shop right now, I think, and I'm horrified by that because that is such a consistently good book. But most of this Marvel stuff is trash. There's the one I'm going to pick up is the Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black. Everything else I don't care about. Bunch of X-Men books where they're all supervillains. This really horribly drawn and written 40K book, which is sad. Dynamite didn't have anything for me this month. Boom, I didn't see anything in there either. Firefly's on issue 26. As far as the other stuff, Dave Sim's still doing some Cerebus stuff, but they're all one-shots. That surprises me because if he would actually number these, he could probably compete again for being the longest running indie comic. $75 for Howard the Duck. Yeah, that's a collected edition, I think. Let me check. Yeah, past it. Whatever. Oh yeah, Howard the Duck, 75. That's the Marvel Masterworks. They're hardcover. They used to be like $45. They were worth that. They're not worth $75. You can get them way cheaper online, even on eBay. Blade Runner trade paperback. These are pretty good. Bloodshot's been okay. I liked Brett Booth's art better, but not bad. Brooklyn Gladiator, I'll pick that up just because I've got the first issue. I've got the second issue in transit. Disaster Inc. I finally tracked down the issues I was missing of that, so I'm going to review the rest of that series. Interesting premise, though. Fish Kill, I'm missing issue 2 because they sold out for some reason before I could get a copy. So I just didn't get it, so I have to wait on that one. Jungle Fantasy again. Mandrake the Magician. That's not Mandrake, it's some girl with white hair that's strong, independent woman, don't need no man. Yeah, okay, it's not a bad idea. Hey, Mass Creation, how you doing? They're playing up the X of Swords crap, and I just don't care about the characters enough that they just revive characters anyway, so what's the point? Yeah, that's what I've been saying. There's no risk of any danger to them. They're just going to be reborn as new Chia pets or whatever on the Exno state. So it's really stupid. They're just supervillains now. Moon Maid, I've been liking that. American Mythology again. That's another Edgar Rice Burroughs property. I'll pick that up because Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff's pretty good. Ninjas and Robots, I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping for that cover. I'll probably get that one. But yeah, I really like this book. Phantom Starkiller, #1, third print. Still not getting it. That's already sold out, apparently. Robin Hood Iron Maiden #2. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of sold out, did you buy the SCP journals on Indiegogo? No. Check out your first broadcast. All right, I'll give it a shot sometime. Yeah, it's Mandrake the Ma token. The SCP journals were really, really expensive. So way out of my league. But they looked really cool, though. Great source material for like a Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Tarna, this was actually a pretty good book. I read issue 1. I've got issue 2 sitting here. Surprisingly pretty fun. Uber, I don't care about that book at all. I've heard it's good, but I just don't care. Too many variant covers, too much other stuff. They're all old anyway. I just have no interest. Avatar Press has let me down way too many times. Vagrant Queen, if you can't tell, strong, independent woman, side of the head shaved. And that book is just trash. It couldn't even make it as a sci-fi TV series. Oh, there was another one on here that I was going to get. Where is it? Yeah, Shino Cage. I don't know how to speak that Japanese stuff. The first issue was pretty fun. It's about a guy trying to become a samurai and his trials before he can fight the big bad. DC, they don't do books through previews anymore, but I'm probably going to pick up Batman and White Knight and maybe that Generation Forged. I don't know, $10 is way too much for the Generations Forged, so I might wait and get it from a buddy of mine, read his copy. But you got the limited edition, nice. Hey, Anthrax, how you doing, man? So that is the new stuff coming out, so let's look at some news. All right, so the hot crap lately has been there's a rumor that DC Comics is getting bought out, and they're asking a ridiculous amount of money. But supposedly there are some people interested in buying the publishing arm. They won't own the characters, but they will get the rights to license them and print them. I don't think that's going to happen. I think DC is probably going to get shut down, which is really sad, but it's the likely scenario here. So I saw that on Bleeding Cool, and it's probably true that there are people considering it, but I think they want way too much money. And Future State has been such a freaking mess. Oh, they're so bad. So mediocre. The art is very heavily anime, so if you like anime style art, you might like the art. But the stories are just kind of middling and boring. Oh, you got your power back. Sweet. You get your comics through Comicsgate? Cool. I haven't been buying too many. I've been burned too many times. So I'm cut way back on my support on Indiegogo. I'm just not giving people money that aren't going to deliver. So I'm just kind of tired of that. But otherwise, there's a couple of crowdfunders I'm backing, but cut way back on those. Just to people I know will deliver. And I'm probably going to do most of those as patron exclusives, just to avoid getting doxxed. Okay, so here's a crazy rumor. The Batman movie may be on hold because Robert Pattinson was caught having sex in the Batmobile. This is from Bounding Into Comics. And it won't surprise me if this is actually true. And here's why. This idiot refused to work out because why does Batman need to be buff was his excuse. He seems to have zero interest in actually playing Batman. So why he signed up for this movie, I don't know. They even shut production down so that he could work out and get buff, and he didn't do it. That's been the rumor going around. Yeah, it would raise my opinion of him for banging on there, but he should have filmed it if he was going to. It is a power move, and I'll give him credit for that. Like, if you're going to get fired from a job, hard banging is really a good way to go. So he was supposed to be up for a trilogy, but it looks like that might not happen if this is true. Yeah, but if you're not going to work out, the paycheck just doesn't mean much. It is a 4chan post, so take that for what you will, but it really wouldn't surprise me if this is true. There is a rumor that it's this chick and she's supposedly pregnant with this baby, which would be hilarious if that were true. They could call the kid Bruce, the Bat Baby. So I thought that was funny. Let's see what else we got here. Now, speaking of movies and TV, the CW had been looking at doing a Wonder Girl series. You want to see the Batmobile? Yeah, that is a good pickup line. Well, they pitched the new Brazilian chick from Future State, which everybody says is great, but I don't know. They're all pretty mediocre Future State books. Some of them are just downright stupid. But the CW passed on the Latinx Wonder Girl series. So that actually surprised me. The showrunner / writer came out and announced it on the Twitter machine, I think, or Facebook. I think it's Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. This is blue check mark. And they turned it down. So this is really right in the CW's wheelhouse for garbage fire because they are very, very PC and very SJW. But they turned this down. I don't understand why. I'm shocked by it. So they would have made it a low budget nothing like they did with a certain other garbage fire, which if you have not seen the Batwoman show, it is one of the worst written shows I have ever seen. I actually felt bad for this lady because she's not that great of an actress, but this is like almost humiliating to be on this show. It's so bad. But they are moving forward with the Naomi series, which is a Brian Michael Bendis character about a strong, independent black woman that don't need no man, no Superman. So I guess they were worried about that. There is a Powerpuff Girls show. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Oh, hey, Becca. Apparently, they're going to do a live-action Powerpuff Girls where the girls are grown up and they're apparently like promiscuous and edgy teenagers. It sounded horrible. Not quite Batwoman horrible, but pretty horrible. So we'll see how that trash fire works out. That's true, Dangerous. That's true. And my favorite story of the week, which I'm sure you've all seen. Who forgot to invite Chun-Li to Mortal Kombat? This comes from Jezebel. And look, there's Sonya Blade, right? Everybody knows Mortal Kombat, played the video games when they were younger or whatever. Would know why Chun-Li is not in Mortal Kombat. But they wrote this article saying about how The trailer looks good, blah, blah, blah. Special effects coordination. But there's a scene where Sub-Zero turns his enemy into a blood knife. The movie, or show rather, I think it's a miniseries, looks really good. So I would actually be willing to watch it. But being the astute film critic that I am, I immediately clocked a glaring error in the film. Where is Chun-Li? If there's a battle for the fate of the Earth, why wouldn't they choose Chun-Li? Well, they actually had to go in and add an update. And they just figured out that Chun-Li is not part of the Marvel or the Mortal Kombat Megaverse. Good job, idiots. You guys are supposed to be pop culture reviewers, and you didn't know this? So that was funny. I laughed at this for way too long because way to make yourself out to be the fake geek that everybody calls you. It's just pathetic. I really did laugh at this way too long. I had so much fun with this. Yeah, the trend of shitting all over our childhoods is continuing. Yeah, I would like to think it's a marketing ploy, Oki, but I've read some of their other articles. They didn't know. They're just that stupid. And it's really sad and kind of pathetic. I would like to see her in there too, especially if her and Sonia are doing some hot wrestling. But unfortunately, that never happens. So that was the joy of the day. I really got a kick out of that article. Todd McFarlane announced that there's going to be a Spawnverse. That could be interesting. He's getting back into comics. They're going to do 4 titles. One of them is going to be like a rotational with different characters. But there's like a Gunslinger Spawn and some of the others. So that could be really interesting. There's going to be King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, The Scorched, which will feature a rotating cast, including She-Spawn. And they'll all be ongoing books. So if you're a Spawn fan, this could be pretty cool. I might pick up a couple of them for the channel. That cover's pretty sweet. So I think Todd McFarlane's kind of getting back into his roots. He raised $3 million on his Kickstarter. And I think that kind of sparked something in him that maybe this franchise could go somewhere. So it sounds like there's going to be some event that kind of launches the whole thing off. Could be interesting. So I'm willing to give it a chance because it can't be any worse than Marvel's trash. And it might actually be better, sadly. I was never a huge Spawn fan, but if you like McFarlane's art or Spawn, this might be up your alley. The art looks pretty good, too, so could be fun. It'd be nice to see some good art again. And then there's my least favorite story of the week, which is the new Aquaman show on HBO Max. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but oh dear. It looks really, really bad. So they decided to do, I guess this is supposed to be a tie-in with the movies. Go away, I don't want your cookies. Ads too, really? And it's called King of Atlantis, but they went with the Steven Universe look. That's Mura. That is not drawn on. That is the eyebrow she has in the show. So, unibrow. Yeah, this looks like a dumpster fire. Look at it. Why does he have seaweed green hair, too? I don't get this. So this looks stupid. They're using lazy spaghetti noodle arms and whatnot. It's going to be garbage. I hate this art style. I absolutely hate it. It looks so lazy. I'm pretty sure bored middle schoolers do this sort of thing in the margins of their textbooks. So, comparisons to Thundercats Roar, there's already a lot of people hating on it. And of course, the White Knights came out to defend it. But it just looks like such trash. I don't know why they couldn't go with the more animated Justice League style Aquaman or any of the Brave and the Bold stuff would have been fine. This just looks lazy. I mean, what is going on here? So I hate that. Sea Caterpillar, nice. And of course, Marina Sirtis had to weigh in on the Texas stuff because why not? Nothing like an aging out-of-work actress to tell you all about what you should be doing about Texas. And she mostly just said they're getting what they deserve because they voted for Trump. Yeah, there's been 20 deaths in Texas this week and 18 others in 11 different states. It's really insensitive to say dumb shit like this. So, kind of dumb on her part, but kind of what you expect to get a virtue signal. It's just kind of sick to stand on people's graves like that. I don't know. I don't think people deserve to freeze to death because of how they voted. That's kind of stupid. So, yeah, shut up, Donna Troy. That's really about all I had today. I don't know why people care about what actors think, Kyler. It's really stupid. They're not interesting people. They're not that smart. So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, that's about all I had. You guys have any questions or anything? I just kind of wanted to go over the little bit of news that I saw. It's okay because once they die, they vote Democrat. That's actually a pretty profound point, sadly. So I don't think Monkey's going to stream tonight. He said he was going to bed because he's hanging out with the grandkids tomorrow. So I don't know if he wants to stream in the morning or not. Probably not. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what they should be doing is dance for my amusement, throw nickels at them, and then they go away like strippers. Make it hail. Yeah, he's just got the grandkids, I think, tomorrow. So he wanted to rest up for that, from what I understood. So I think he's okay, just not wanting to push himself too much so he can hang out with the grandkids. Yeah, kids have a way of really wearing you out. So there is that. All right, well, I appreciate everybody coming out to hang out and listen to me rant about comics. When will you invite EFAP crew and talk about how Man of Steel is an awful movie? Well, there's peeps who's defending that movie. I don't care about that movie. I thought it was just it was bad, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen because I've seen some really bad movies. It was just forgettable. It was like a C-. This should happen more, Jack. I'm gonna try to do a weekly thing. So there's multiple concussions from repeated trauma from stare incidents. Yeah, that's true. Hey TOS, how you doing, man? Coke told us to be less white, not comics related, but still. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Every big brand is going to talk about their nonsense now. Sadly. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't care about what brands tell me anymore. I've gotten so little loyalty to anything now. Just tired of them telling me what to do. And I'm real tired of Disney's garbage. It'd be nice if they got their act together, but I doubt that'll happen anytime soon. Still, DC movies are bad, including Wonder Woman. I thought the first Wonder Woman was pretty good. Liked it better when it was called Captain America: The First Avenger, but it wasn't bad. I thought Gal Gadot did a good job as Wonder Woman. It just was a little bit of a weak script. Of course, they just want your money. Corporations don't care about us. They just want our money. And if they would have good product, they'll get your money. Been watching WandaVision. Apparently, it's getting increasingly woke every week. There was a little bit of woke stuff this week about speaking truth or something, but I thought it's been okay. I expected it to be a lot more ham-fisted with the wokeness, quite honestly, but I didn't think it was too bad. It's not worth paying $15 a month for just that. Yeah, I'm caught up on it, but I'm not giving Disney $15 a month for one TV show. Maybe if they'd drop 2 or 3 shows a week that I want to watch, something along those lines, maybe then I would buy it or get it, but I'm not getting it the way it is now. Wonder Woman 84 was at least 3 different movies crammed together. That's what I've heard. I've heard that thing is such a huge mess. Apparently they'd done some reshoots, so maybe they changed a few things to like Orange Man Bad or whatever. But I've heard really mixed reviews on that, and none of them were good. They're all just saying different things. Said I paid $20. Paid for all 20 of the Star Trek Series 5. They're chronically late. Yeah, I liked the first like 6 or 7 issues, but I dropped it because I didn't like the stupid Fishman story, and I'm not paying $4 for a book that might be good. Otherwise, the first couple issues were fantastic. Wanted to learn about WAP? Sorry, I don't have one of those. I don't pay for Disney Plus. I don't blame you. There's almost nothing worth watching. Canceled Disney Plus. Good. Yeah, I canceled mine and I watched it on over at my friend's house. Wonder Woman 84 was boring. I had to watch it in 2 sittings. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not surprised. I'm afraid to watch it. It had potential. Like, it could have been really cool, but the fact they didn't even have an 80s soundtrack was kind of pathetic. Yeah, Kyler, I have heard that, but I still have some liberal friends that have subscriptions, so I'm more than happy to go visit their house and watch their show because they buy pizzas. They have all those great old Disney movies that now have the warnings at the start telling you that movies are racist. Yeah, plus I've heard they're editing some parts out of certain movies, and they're vaulting a lot of stuff. Disneyland laid me off, so basically I had to get a new job. Oh, that sucks, Hazmat. I'm sorry to hear that. They got better, sorta. Hopefully. Yeah, the Gina Carano thing really made a lot of people mad. It made me mad. I thought that was stupid, and it was a really lazy thing to do to someone. So yeah, I'm glad a lot of people were actually outraged enough to cancel their Disney Plus. And really, all the stuff Disney's done is pretty insulting. They filmed near a concentration camp and thanked the government. The ties of the Star Mulan that might be related to the Hunter Biden thing. The fact there's no new content on there is a huge slap in the face. Why do I want to pay $15 for that? You know, if you got kids, buy the Blu-ray. You'll get more out of it for less money. Script was trash, but the acting was decent. I've heard the acting was good. There's some good actors in that movie, but yeah, the script looked like it was a mess. Live action Gargoyles, I'd watch that. I loved that show. That was definitely worth watching. And a lot of people from Star Trek The Next Generation were on there. You're not missing much, Becca. YouTube's got better content, quite honestly. Ew, gross, Anthrax. Ah, yeah, I'd be a little upset about that. Bulk order of assorted blind bags, all toy related. Cool. China wholesale auction site. That's awesome. You'll probably get some really cool stuff in that. Yeah, I'm not touching that one, Dangerous. I'll get in trouble. If they did another animated Gargoyles, it would look all spaghetti Steven Universe style. And I can't deal with that. They've destroyed enough of my childhood and my college years. I don't need to support any of that anymore. Yeah, it's sad when YouTube has more interesting things than the mainstream does because they have all the budget and supposedly top talent, and you end up watching live streams and stuff like that. It's sad. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, good, Anthrax. I'd be furious if I found gum in there. Wow, 1,000 pieces. Nice. Oh, I hope you win. Yeah, every time I see something I really want on eBay or one of the auction sites, it's the time I'm like broke. Like, oh, I just paid this. I'm gonna go buy some resistance bands or something. Then right after I buy them, I'm like, oh, this awesome thing. Well, I don't need that. Still doesn't make me work out, but gonna be streaming now. If so, I support your decision to do so. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do something once a week, just for the sake of it. Yeah, I want to get better at streaming, and I figure I have some downtime occasionally. I'm gonna try and do Friday nights. Probably do them a lot earlier in the day though, like 7 p.m. or something, so that I can get better at live streaming on my own, and that way I don't interfere with Monkey in the Morning. People defending awful movies like Bird of Prey. Birds of Prey was garbage. Oh man, I left during that. I was watching it at a buddy's house, and I'm like, if you're gonna keep watching this, I'm going home. Seems to happen to me too. Never have extra cash to get what I want. It's only ever when I see something that I absolutely really want, like some awesome deal, that's when I'm broke. I might have $20 before that, and then I'll go get groceries, and then I'll find some like masterpiece that I need that was like 50 cents, and I'm flat broke. It's irritating. Superhero movies made for kids. Some superhero movies could be made for kids, like a PG-13. That would be a smart move. They could have done that with Justice League, but they really screwed the pooch on that one by making it a mess and having swearing in it. If they'd taken the swearing out, they could have marketed that as a 13 and up, and those kids would be too dumb to know that the plot inconsistencies were that bad for the most part, and they probably would have sold more toys and merch then too. Well, the time thing's a work in progress, TOS. Gonna figure something out. Yeah, hazmat, it really is that bad. So don't do that. Oh, you were streaming with Irate. Cool. He seems like a good dude. Oh, when you walk out of a house while watching a movie, that is never a good sign. Well, they didn't have any good snacks either. And the one guy kind of annoys me. So it wasn't a total loss. Plasma centers. I know, right? I've sold plasma. That hurts so much. Next Deadpool. Yeah, they're talking Deadpool's supposed to be R-rated, but since Disney's got it, I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of faith in that. It's hard to say what they're going to do. So I don't have a lot of faith that Disney's going to figure out that Disney-fying everything for general audiences is a winning move. Only walked out of one movie, Scarface. I thought it was horrible. Yeah, I think that movie's vastly overrated. I've only ever walked out of a couple movies. It's pretty rare. I'll usually just take a nap. I'm pretty good at sleeping about anywhere. So I think Dragon Wars was the last movie I really wanted to walk out on that wasn't a Star Wars film. Because Dragon Wars, I saw that in the theater with my buddy Nate, and that dude is hilarious, but he was like, this movie sucks through the entire thing. And he was loud. There were only like 4 people in the theater, and we were all in agreement. That movie was garbage. So if you haven't seen Dragon Wars, don't. It's terrible. It makes no sense, and there's really no dragon warring until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. It is stupid. Apparently, it was based off of a manga, and it was even worse than The Last Airbender was. That was a tragic, atrocious film. And it didn't say Dragon Wars at the beginning. I think they changed that on the home video release. But on the theatrical release, it didn't say Dragon Wars at the beginning. It said D Wars. And I was like, what is this? I thought they were playing the wrong movie. Yeah, how do you ruin a dragon movie? I mean, Reign of Fire, Dragonheart, classics. Even Dungeons and Dragons at least had cool dragons. So, I don't get it. The high IQ, the way you do plasmas, round up 4 or 5 people, pay $5 a piece. Oh, the bums are wise to the plasma scheme. You see a lot of them down there. Blocked it out of your memory. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd block it out of my memory if I could. Giant snakes for days. Snakes on a Plane was a far superior movie. Reign of Fire was one of those movies, like I said, that would have made a cool like TV show or a mini series, but they just didn't flesh it out enough. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was kind of bad. You fell asleep at a WWE event? Wow. You'd be lucky if you woke up without your wallet. Demon Slayer has some pretty bad writing. I've never seen that. I've heard the Demon Slayer mangas were good, but never seen the show. Yeah, Jeremy Irons is fun. He knows when he's acting in a bad movie, so he kind of hams it up more than usual. But he's a good actor, and I'll watch his stuff usually. And that movie really went off the rails for me. I was willing to suspend massive amounts of disbelief because I really wanted that movie to be good. When I found out there was a Wayans brother, I knew it was going to be a garbage movie. But turning the Beholder into a special needs dog was a crime against humanity that I could not get behind. I do own the movie, though, so there's that. Dragonheart was a great movie. Yeah, anything with a Wayans brother automatically makes me suspicious. G.I. Joe was a trash fire because of that. Yeah, don't watch Dragon Wars. That was a bad movie. I never saw the Dragonheart sequels. I heard bad things about them, and just based on the synopsis I read, I was like, yep, hard pass, not watching that crap. So I didn't even bother. Major Pain was awesome. Well, that's a perspective. I don't know. I never watched it drunk or high, and I haven't seen it in like 20 years, but I remember falling asleep during it. But it was still better than Triple X, which I fell asleep in twice in the theater. And not 2 times in the same showing. I walked in and fell asleep in like the first 10 minutes. And then I went to see it again with a buddy of mine. And I fell asleep again. And he got really mad because apparently I was snoring. I didn't feel bad about it. What awful movie you think Monkey like and fight you for saying that a movie is bad? I don't know. I'm not a huge Lethal Weapon fan. I think those movies are overrated. He'd probably be disappointed in me for saying that. I'm also looking forward to Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think that's got potential. I'm a little tired of seeing those kids from Stranger Things, but it's got Paul Rudd, so there's some hope that it will be fun. And I've heard that the surviving cast members are going to be in it. Last Boy Scout was a great movie. It's just got to be a special kind of movie that can rein in a Wayans brother. Footloose is trash. That's the original was sadly better than the remake, and they're both garbage movies. I'm sorry. Footloose is just a stupid movie. Still better than Triple X, though. Wow, you weren't even bored enough to fall asleep at TMNT? I haven't seen those new ones. I've heard they were awful, though. And they looked really stupid. And Megan Fox, she's a good-looking chick, but that doesn't save your movie from being garbage. Yeah, Rammstein made an awesome soundtrack. The soundtrack for that movie was good, but man, that movie was so dumb. Never saw the remake. Rather watch Christian than watch Footloose. Wow, that's a bold statement there. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say that. Wow. Well, alrighty then. Wow, that's a brutal thing to say. Ouch. But if you've ever seen Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon, that is a great movie. I love that movie. Tremors was better than Footloose. Absolutely. I always thought they should have crossed over Tremors with City Slickers. Like, just take the two movies and kind of mash them together and have it like a comedy buddy cop where people start getting eaten by giant sandworms. I'd watch that. Human Centipede 2 was really gross and disturbing. I had a little trouble sitting through that one because I was kind of bored and it was just being gross to be gross. The first one was funny, but it got a little carried away the second time. Dangerous. You're probably not wrong. That's why when I saw Michael Bay was working on him, I was like, nope. Ooh, Riddick Alien crossover could be cool. I really liked Chronicles of Riddick. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but it's basically Conan the Destroyer or Conan the Barbarian, and I liked that. Yeah, some of the special effects look really dated now, but I like those movies. Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick. I never saw the third one, but I would absolutely watch a Riddick Alien crossover. Yeah, there's a couple of Tremors movies I've never seen. Bulletproof, they had Wayans and Adam Sandler. Oh, I saw that. It was okay. It was kind of on par with Bulletproof Monk, which, again, could have been a good movie, but it just wasn't. Sort of that level. Adam Sandler is just too hit and miss for me. Yeah, I like horror movies more than gore films, too. I like the old Hammer horror stuff, too. I like really cheesy horror movies. Riddick animated movie was better than Chronicles. I've never seen that one. Hereditary? No, I didn't see that. I don't think. I might own a copy of that, though. That sounds familiar. I have a lot of movies I haven't watched. I've been really busy lately with personal stuff. John Wick 2's bad, but I really do enjoy the shopping part. I kind of like those movies. They're dumb popcorn fun. The first one I thought was the best one, but I've only seen the first two, I should specify, but I thought they were okay. They're just shoot 'em ups. Glimmerman with Seagal. Oh, Seagal, geez. What a downturn. I like some of his old stuff from the early 90s, late 80s. They're just cheesy B-movie stuff, but I like those. But then he got real fat, and it got weird. They're trying to hide his gut, and he'd like kind of run, and you could tell he wasn't really running because he's fat. And he'd like stand behind like filing cabinets and stuff. It was sad. Some of those were just bad. They're entertaining in an awful, tragic kind of way. Like watching car crash videos. Oh, Chronicles Riddick first person shooter. Never played that. Freaks is the black and white movie from the old days with Gooble Gobble, One of Us. That was a great movie. Movies. We used to watch a bunch of schlock horror when I was a kid on like a couple of the Detroit stations because we could get those occasionally at my grandma's house, and we got to watch a bunch of really old Italian horror and the old black and white stuff. I grew up on that. I was like 6 watching the original Dracula. I love those movies. That's also where I was introduced to Ultraman because he was on Channel 20, and I love those. They'd play Godzilla movies and Chopsaki Theater, so I got to see a bunch of like 70s martial arts films. So I may own a bunch of American Ninja movies. Death Stranding may not be a movie, but honestly, it'd be a pretty unique movie set. I'm not familiar with that. The horror 80s, man, the 80s had some of the greatest concept movies. They may not have been good on execution, but they had ideas and they were trying. So you'd see movies like Basket Case. You couldn't make that today because people would say you're being ableist or some nonsense. The Killer Clowns is a very, very underrated movie. It's silly and stupid, but it's fun. Hey, Lester, how you doing? Seen anything on the new Equalizer show? I've heard it's awful. A couple of my friends have seen it. A couple people on Twitter have commented on it, and I have not heard anything good. It looks stupid. You can't replace Edward Woodward with Queen Latifah. Come on. She's not that good of an actor, and she's not believable in the role. So, stupid mistake. They should have got Sean Bean to play the Equalizer. I'd watch the shit out of that. Slow burn. Might check it out. Anthrax. Sounds cool. I like practical effects as well. You don't see people try that anymore. Now it's just lazy CG. Houlihan out of Cleveland. Did they do Polymorph? And Dead Next Door? Because I know those guys were out of the Cleveland area. Those movies were great. Show sucks. Yeah, it looked bad, which is really sad. Cause there were some good TV shows that weren't the best, but they were watchable. Like the one with the computer that would spy on people. That was pretty cool with the guy that played Jesus. I forget the name of that. My dad liked it. Yeah, Hollow Man was fun. I didn't hate that. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was good cheese fun. I didn't see the Denzel movies of Equalizer. I've heard they're good, but he's a good enough actor, but they kind of gave him like weird quirks. They should have just stuck with the original premise. Person of Interest, yes, thank you. That was a good show. 6 Days in Fallujah. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Well, you got me talking movies now. That's one of my favorite topics. The original Candyman, I don't know if you knew this, was based loosely off a true story about a woman that got murdered when a guy came in through her medicine cabinet. Because it was in Chicago, if I remember correctly. And the way that building was built was that they put the pipes behind the bathroom walls. In order to access them, they made it so the medicine people that climbed down, and her neighboring apartment had been empty, and someone who might have lived in the building broke in through the medicine cabinet by removing it from the neighboring unit and then pushing hers out. And she had complained about people like in her medicine cabinet before, and nobody found her for like 3 days because she was dead. They totally straight up murdered her. I don't think it's ever been solved, but that story scared me more than the Candyman movie. But yeah, that was a good movie. Tony Todd is one of the most underrated actors of his generation. I never played Cyberpunk. My computer won't run it. Wish they continued the MonsterVerse. They might now. Yeah, Mummy was stupid. They're going too big with these. They need to make them smaller movies in the sense that it's not like a global thing all the time. It should be affecting a smaller group of people, like at best a town, so that it's a little bit more convenient that the world doesn't know about this stuff. So you can kind of interconnect them. Mummy movies are really good for that. But then they could have really kind of tied everything together. Up the Creek, is that a comedy? Because I remember something like that with like Seth Green. I think it was Colonel Mustard. Yeah, he did it with the candlestick in the conservatory. Movie you love from a person you hate. I like a lot of the Coen Brothers stuff. True Grit was great. I like The Big Lebowski. They've got a couple others that were pretty good. Have good writers do the scripts. Yeah, well, unfortunately, they don't seem to want good writers. They want woke writers, which is really sad. Oh, thank you, Oki, for the donation. Here's one Little Caesar's pizza. Also, your Streamlabs link in the description is broken. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to fix that. Unfortunately, it won't let me do it now. But yeah, I appreciate the donation. That's really kind of you. I'll fix that for future streams. There's that. Yeah, I'm a big fan. The Clue movie, the original, was really fun, especially because of the alternate endings that they did in theaters. But I saw it on home video first. I wasn't lucky enough to see it in the theater. That was during my broke years. Oh, awesome, Oki. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm thinking Without a Paddle. You're right. Up the Creek sounds familiar. I don't know if I've seen it, though. Without a Paddle had its moments, but it was okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I had a buddy that lived in Southern California his entire life, and he hated The Big Lebowski. And he's like, I don't understand why people like this movie. I see these people all the time. And I said, well, that's because we don't see them. That's why we like it. And he just didn't get the attraction, but I thought it was fun. And bowling is super fun. I'm really bad at it, though. Bill Murray has weird choices in movies sometimes, and I did like him as the voice of Garfield. I don't care how bad that movie was. Well, welcome back, Mass. Stephen King, Cat's Eye. Oh, yeah, man, that creepy little troll thing that lived in the wall. Yeah, that imp. That was a good movie. I hope you can write me off as a charity case. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Asian porn too, but you can't watch it all the time. You get sore. Yeah, I don't understand adoration for any movie. I'm a fan of a lot of things, but unless I'm buying a poster, I'm not that big of a fan. I have a few movie posters laying around, but I don't have anything hanging up right now. Yeah, he does have FU money. You know, he only did Ghostbusters so that he could do Razor's Edge, and Razor's Edge turned out to be a very forgettable adaptation of a really good book. So it was really disappointing for him, I'm sure, because Ghostbusters is a classic. Yeah, I can't bowl anymore either, mostly because I suck at it. Sorry to hear about your rotator, though. That blows. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah, there's a lot of good movies from the 80s, especially low-budget horror films like Return of the Living Dead with Jewel Shepard and Leanna Quigley and some of the others. I love those guys. Scream Queens, man, that's where a lot of fun movies happen. I didn't like Zombieland. I don't like that Eisenberg kid. I think he's really annoying and vastly overrated. I don't know how he keeps getting work. The trick to bowling is to go with people with kids or take your kid and then tell them they have to put the rails out. You'll never get a gutter ball again. Kingpin was an okay movie, as I recall. If you like bowling movies, yeah, Zombieland was just overrated to me. I just didn't get it. Ooh, geez, TOS, that sucks. I don't think Internet Historian would talk to me. I'm way too small time. I never played Last of Us 2. I've heard so many bad things about it. Even if I was playing video games, I would have no interest in that game at all. Yeah, Night of the Creeps, classic. And The Stuff. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's about killer yogurt. They were thinking he's a bankable star, Dangerous, and he's not. He's a terrible actor who shouldn't have work because he's not interesting. He plays the same character, a neurotic idiot, all the time. It's really annoying, and he's arrogant. And I think he's probably a smarmy person in real life. I do that, but use my kids as an excuse. Yeah, I know, right? It's brilliant. And then you could like do potty shots the entire time. RoboCop the arcade game. I played that on SENS back in the day, and I'm really bad at video games, but I would play that. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody would ever watch me play video games because they'll just get blood pressure attacks and probably have a stroke because they'll be screaming at me the entire time. Yeah, Paul Rudd's really good at playing Paul Rudd. He is the best Paul Rudd. Much like Bill Paxton was the Bill Paxton Collective, because he is the same person in every movie. Oh yeah, it totally put me off. I still think of it when I eat marshmallow fluff. I can't eat it because it's disgusting for one, but that's all I think of is when I see marshmallow fluff or yogurt, I think of the stuff. Grandma rolled down the lane. Yeah. Decent bowler. 220 average. Wow. I have a 65 average. My record in college was 67. That's why we'd watch you play video games. Yeah, if I get a better computer, I might do that just for fun occasionally, but I'll never be able to make a career out of it because I get frustrated because I'm bad at them and I get lost a lot and then people yell at me. And I don't do real well at video games. And I have to have a controller because I can't use a keyboard to do anything. There's always hope we'll get a better Ant-Man movie. The last ones were okay. Hopefully they'll do a better one. Yes, Matt. The cast with Eisenberg as Luthor was interesting. It could have been interesting with Eisenberg as Luthor, but he plays the same person in all his movies. He has no range, and he thinks he does. It's really sad because you can tell how smug he presents himself in interviews and stuff. He's just an unlikable person that can't act, and he must know somebody, or maybe he does some weird stuff for roles. I don't know. I don't know what his connection is, but how Eisenberg gets roles is a mystery to me, and it needs to stop. Like, I'd rather see Corey Feldman play Lex Luthor because at least that would be a new and interesting take on it, and it might be entertaining. Hey, nobody. Once had a 180 average, but that was in the past. Or 65 average isn't getting any better. I don't know, Cracked. I don't have answers for that. Oh yeah. The guy that played the Tick on the live action. Oh man, that guy's a great actor. Patrick Warburton. He was kind of big for a little while. Elliott, whose career should have gone a lot further than it did, and there's no reason for it. And they would probably do better now, but I don't get why they weren't bigger stars. Heck, I'd watch Patrick Warburton play Lex Luthor. That would be way more interesting than Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, okay, I think you're right. I didn't sit through the whole thing of Social Network. I think I was making out with somebody at the time, and I couldn't watch it. Brenda's song was the only redeeming part of that movie. I don't know, Dangerous. There's a lot of weirdos out there. He rejected her man. He turned to a monkey. I sent you a Streamlabs, but this thing sucks on my phone. Oh, thanks, man. Sorry, I haven't been checking my Streamlabs. Thank you, Anthrax, for the donation. We need a Hellraiser that doesn't suck. Well, you're in luck. They're talking about doing another Hellraiser, and apparently they've... And thank you, Becca, for the very generous donation, just because you entertained me. Well, I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? You guys are super kind to me. I appreciate that. I was just bored and wanted to do something, so I thought I'll do a stream. And I want to do kind of a regular thing where I talk about the comics that are coming out and the occasional news article. But yeah, otherwise it was just I was bored and wanted to kind of chat with people. Something to do, you know. I don't have a lot going on tonight, and I've got like 5 hours to kill before I have to do anything. So let's slap on. Yeah, unfortunately, Ryan, that's what they're recoming. Heading to bed, but sleep is weakness entering the body, my friend. Just stay up all night. Hey, nobody again. I appreciate it, Becca. Comics and action figures and geek news. Yeah, pretty much. I love comics. It's been a lifelong passion for me. So I like talking about them, and I don't get to do that too much in my real life. I don't have that many friends that still collect comics on a regular basis. Some of them kind of dip in and out, but they don't want to talk comic books. Make a schedule and stick to it. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try and do them on Fridays. I haven't figured out exactly a time yet, but I'm thinking maybe 7, and then people can watch the replay whenever they want. I'd rather have a fight with Chris why Sonic with blue arms is better than tan arms. Yeah, I don't understand that whole thing, and I don't really care. I don't know enough about Sonic. I played the games on Genesis. A buddy of mine had it, and I liked them, but I'm just not that into video games. That's probably because I suck at them. Anthrax said it'll probably be a thing for a little while until I figure out a time schedule. My real life's a little complicated right now, so unfortunately it doesn't lend itself too well to a time schedule. Friday at 7 is good. Oh, cool. I'll try and do that then. And it's not like I have much of a social life, so I'm not. And with the lockdowns, it's not much to do at 7. Yes, Oki, I would love to see that movie. I was hoping they would do something like that and give Norm more of a character, but they did. I watched House 3 just to see if he was in it. I would absolutely love to watch that movie. It would be amazing. I appreciate that, Anthrax. Bill Towner, electrician adventurer. Yeah, man. That is such a great concept. If I was doing more writing, if I had time to actually sit down and do more writing, I'd write something like that myself. It won't be very good, but I'd enjoy it. Yeah, if I get a better computer, I might do some vintage games or something, like some of the old 8-bit games that I really liked. I don't think anybody wants to watch me play Krondor, though, or SOCOM, or XCOM and the original ones, Master of Orion 2. Oh man, I always wanted to beat that game and I never did. Babysitting cream? I've never heard of that. Sounds naughty. Yeah, dude, night shifts are a slow killer. I had an awesome job where I guarded an abandoned factory. It was 38 acres of desolation and gigantic raccoons. And there were 3 deer that would wander around the property. So every now and then you'd hear this like snorting, and it was brown trouser time sometimes because you'd be out in the dark walking through the main floor of the factory and you'd hear some like hoofs clip clopping on concrete and some snorting, and your first thought is Satan is here. But it was really just a deer because the big doors didn't close, so they'd wander in there sometimes. Terrifying stuff. And I made the mistake on like week 2 of working alone of watching The Ring and Blair Witch Project back to back, and they ended at like 3:30 in the morning, and then I had to go out and do my rounds. That was not a smart plan on my part. The brave little toaster hops into your bath. Is there a murder suicide? Yes. Yes, it is. I would go with yes. Dear Satan, same thing. They are. I grew up out in the country. Yeah, damn things will run right in front of you. It could have been a Wendigo. I wasn't going to find out. Wendigo, Skinwalker, Bigfoot, Satan, Goatman. Not taking any chances. I just took off. I noped right out of there. There was also a cemetery on the property. Only like 3 or 4 graves were there, but since there was radioactive material there as well that was buried, my worst fear was that there would be skeletons riding the deer with radioactive weapons of rebar, and that's how I would die. And I don't want to be the first person to go on that one, you know? You're thinking of the Money Pit, I think, Anthrax. The guy from Greatest American Hero was in the House movies, in the first one and the third one, I want to say. Rutting sees. I knew what you meant. Nobody. Furries. I actually have a little bit of a fear of mascot costumes. It's nothing personal. I don't have anything against furries. Do your own thing on your own time, but don't do it near me because it kind of freaks me out. Not like, circus clowns, but pretty close. When you wake up, there'll be 10 to 12 deer in your front yard. Yeah, that could be questionable. Yeah, Dangerous. That'll keep you up all night. I did like Donnie Darko. The sequel was stupid, but the first one was a lot of fun. He gets on your channel and shuts you down with jokes. Wouldn't surprise me, Ryan. Wouldn't surprise me. William Cat, thank you. Yeah, I like William Cat. Thought he was a good actor. He really needed to get rid of that perm about 10 years sooner, though. Oh, lost by 25 cents. Dude, I'm sorry. Keep checking. There'll be another one. Yeah, I might do some streams on my 40 channel. I was trying to come up with some stuff for the content for that channel, and I might do some like crypto stuff and UFOs, stuff like that. They're not very big on that on YouTube anymore, but I like that stuff, so I might do some streams or plan videos on that channel at some point. Yeah, people collect those trinket things a lot. I found that weird. I didn't realize how big of a market there was for those blind boxes, and like the even the Happy Meal toys are still pretty popular. I don't understand that, but whatever. People have hobbies. People don't collect stuff like they used to. So I guess if you want to hit that market, you get in bulk would be the way to go. Wow, 3rd freezer. Holy crap. That's a lot of deer meat, dude. yeah, Matt. That's gross. Yeah, sadly, okay, it does. But I would probably have to say like monsters or something, so people didn't get the wrong idea. Yeah, S. Darko, that was trash. It totally defeated the point of the first movie. It was just a worthless cash grab. Yeah, man, I love conspiracy stuff, and I'm not big on the like real world like JFK crap. I find that boring. But reptilians, that stuff's hilarious to me. I love reading about it. It's very entertaining. It's like old Pulp Fiction. The comic related loot boxes, you'd probably get a market for that. I think you could do pretty good, especially if you're buying them in bulk like that. Some people just buy weird, like, are completionist collectors. I don't understand it with like phones and stuff like that, but sometimes they're scammers. Other times there's markets for that. Like I've said before, there's people that buy junk on eBay, like old hinges and stuff like that. Just stuff that I would throw away. So there's a market for everything. The internet really killed a lot of that stuff with eBay, with collectibles. But there's still a market out there for just about everything. Oh man, yeah, those beanies really. I picked up a board game the other day of called the Beanie Chase. I'm going to do an unboxing of it for Roll for Sanity, and I forgot how much of that crap my mom bought. She bought them as gifts and stuff like that, and she ended up with a whole bunch of them herself because they were gifting them back and forth. And there's boxes of that crap in their storage, and I just was like, sell these at a garage sale for $1. They're not worth anything. I guess there's a couple of them that are worth quite a bit, but I don't know what I'd have gotten rid of it by now. I used to have a vending machine at my comic shop, and it was really cool. But when it broke, found out you had to get a new one to replace it because the parts were just trash, and they were like unique parts, so you couldn't just buy them anywhere. And now, of course, you'd be able to get them on different websites, but yeah, back then you couldn't buy the parts, so I had to throw it away. I paid like $200 for that thing too. Forbidden Geek comic box, cool. Hope you like it. Hope there's something good in there. Can I riff on that? I can riff on that crap for hours. I have no idea that weird crap pops into my head. Yeah, man. I have weird stuff pop into my head all the time. Flaky gummies. Ew. What is that? I've never heard of those gummies. So, Postal 2. Never heard of it. Peach rings are good. Yeah, you guys are making me hungry. Circus peanuts are disgusting, though, just for the record. Oh, Japanese fruit. Oh, that's probably pretty good then. That's fair, Okie. What? Yeah, I'm judgmental based on names. It's not my fault. Yeah, if it's got a weird name, it's probably gross. But Japanese and fruit together makes me think of sexy things, so that's probably delicious. Have a good one, Kyler. Don't care for any of the marshmallow candy. I'm not big on marshmallow. It's weird consistency. Like Peeps, and they both suck. No, they're weird. I think they're worse than Peeps. Peeps, at least you get like a sugar rush. Circus Peanuts just makes you feel hollow and empty, and like a clown might touch you. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Circus Peanuts. That they're like the kind of candy old people that hate you would give you, and they'd give the Werthers to their favorite grandkids. Oh, yeah, I'd check out Postal too. Fish people live. Oh, that's Innsmouth. I think that's a different place entirely. I buy Loot Crate type boxes for comics and toys based solely on how well they write the description, trying to convince you for $25. Yeah, that's actually not a bad way to do it, because if the sales tactic is good, you can't really blame them. They at least tried. All right, well, I think I've probably rambled your ears off long enough. I should probably wrap up. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. And of course, thank you so much for the donations. You guys are amazing. It's greatly appreciated, especially because I'm going to the comic shop tomorrow and they're having a sale. I probably should buy groceries with that, but I'm not going to. I fully admit I'm going to buy some comic books. So, your top Asian list. Japan, yeah, definitely cool. That's true, Okie. Oh, well, if you're good, you get this toy. Korea, yeah. Oh, thanks, Becca. I'm glad you were entertained. Sending me a DM. Cool. I'll try and get back to you right after I close up here. Thanks, man. Glad you guys came out. I appreciate you listening to me babble. And, Vietnamese. I'd put Vietnam over China. Sexy ladies. But thanks for coming out. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Or at least see you on Monkey in the Morning next time we do that. So you guys have a good weekend if we don't see you then. And take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. And hopefully your power comes back if you live in Texas. You guys have a good one. I'll see you later.